Nerds. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. This is the bird emergency. You might notice that there's only me here. That's because it's been a disjointed week. I had let's do the explains. I had organised to be talking to Holly yesterday, but when I fronted up for my appointment for my cancer stuff, that I have regular appointments and they're hard to get. You have to make them months out. Anyway, I turned up and they said, "Oh, we've rebooked you for Monday." Okay, all right, great. But I'm here now. Can you see me? No, your consultant's not here. Okay, right. So I changed Holly. Holly graciously has agreed to change to Tuesday. But then last night or late yesterday, a meeting's come up for Holly. So there's no Holly. So everything that I wanted to talk about today with Holly, we're going to have to put off. So rather than give you me waffling for ages, which is what we would be getting, because I hadn't prepared all the slides that I wanted to do for what I want to talk about, what I really want to talk about. Hi, Naomi. Thank you for the Facebook love there on Facebook. And look, hello, we've got Facebooks and YouTubes and Twitterers. So nice to see you all. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to just waffle and rant and get angry about all the items in the news today, because that wasn't what I was all geared up for. So if you've got anything you want to bring up, bring it up. I want to finish the finishing touches on the merch, which takes so long to do. So I'd like to do that and then probably get back to you. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. Maybe we'll do a Thursday. We'll do Thursday, and then I can get all the visuals and everything ready, and it can be like a professional kind of stream. That would be better. But while I'm here, because I just thought I couldn't just reschedule and let you all down again. If you've got anything you'd like to tell me, something that happened over the weekend, something you've seen in the news, the Nature Positive bill is out there. You can read it. I encourage you to do it. That's what I'm going to talk about. We'll do that on Thursday, I think, so that I've got time to clip the articles and find some of the interviews and play those for everyone. That would be great. Plus, I've got a few things for habitat gardening to finish off and make public, so we'll do that. But if you're new too, hello. By the way, hello. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. On Saturday mornings, we do habitat gardening, where we talk about plants, strategies, successful ways to produce a habitat garden, maintain one. There's around here. There's been a bunch more houses sold, and then straight away fenced off, permit application up, so they're going to be knocked down, and a bunch more townhouses put on those spots. So trying to think a lot harder about how to make the really rapidly changing urban spaces, the already developed suburbs, certainly here in Melbourne, and I'm assuming it's exactly the same everywhere else in the country, and increasingly all over the world. Everyone's trying to maximise their profit, flipping houses, quick renos. It's really disheartening to see what's happening, and then to see less choice for everyone in gardening, what's available to them. Anyway, we'll try and fight against that. That's what we do Saturday mornings, every Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. Holly said she's so busy with things that have come up that she won't be able to come on for a couple of weeks. I don't have the date, so we'll try that out later on. So, anything you want to say? It's over to you, as we say. Are you following the British election? My God, are you following what's going on in America? Wow. Not seeing a lot of environment news coming out, being pushed forward in the UK campaign so far. I'm looking out for that. Reading, I'm taking in a lot more British stuff than I normally do. But we need to watch what tactics are being used and what issues are coming to the forefront, because that's what will be rolled out here. Anyway, all right, I'm just waiting. Naomi, thank you for the Facebook love. Appreciate it. Anyone got anything to say, question to ask, comments, suggestion? I don't want to waste your time today. I don't want to just waffle. So if there's nothing, let's just have a look. Lots of Twitterers again. Nice to see. Maybe if you're on Twitch or YouTube, maybe... No, I won't commit to anything other than Thursday. We'll see you Thursday. Comment. Oh, this is what we like to see. Naomi says, Naomi's been watching the Trump trial. It floods my feeds now. I haven't seen much nature news. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I totally understand why in America at the moment it's all about Trump being convicted and what that means. There's also there's a whole heap in the next couple of weeks decisions of the US Supreme Court, and some of those will have bearings on the way departments can work. So that will have flow-on effects to what bodies like the EPA can do, and what kind of things agencies can do to protect nature without there needing to be specific legislation and dollars put to specific legislative plans. That sort of stuff is happening in the US with a couple of significant Supreme Court Supreme Court decisions. Oh, Naomi's asked me, here we go. I'll have to read the new legislation. I wasn't angry about World Parrot Day. No, not at all, Naomi. It just happened that World Parrot Day turned up. Well, I'd been reading the nature positive legislation. It's such a misnomer. And then seeing what naturepositive.org is all about and how the government is taking a term that seems positive. I mean, this is the most cynical exercise in politics, and using the environment and conservation as a Trojan horse. And I mean, they're using the terms, and that's why I always sort of go nature and environment, because they've just become terms that are really meaningless if we don't take the next step and define what we are wanting to achieve. And this continual, I mean, we're seeing it in New South Wales at the moment, where they still haven't done any of the things they said they were going to do. The keystone policies they said they were going to do in environment, in conservation, in biodiversity. But they're still doing things and announcing dollar amounts. But it's not the main policies that they were talking about. Victoria, This isn't a conservation policy, but they're talking about privatising births, deaths, and marriages. I mean, one of the core functions of government, and how would it ever be more efficient and cheaper and better value for money and easier for people to access if they sell it off to some bloody big financial institution? It will probably be a multinational, and they'll merge it into their other operations, and it'll be crap. So I'm just angry in general. That's why I didn't. WTF? Why would they do that? I assume you're talking about privatising births, deaths, and marriages. Because we still, even left-wing, supposed left-wing parties have still been brainwashed by the bullshit about privatising things are better, and that there's some things that government shouldn't be doing. Well, I'm sorry. Building roads is probably something I would be much happier that they privatised than a core function of getting your birth registered and your death registered and your marriage registered and your kids' births and deaths and marriages registered. Oh, it's just bonkers, So anyway, all this kind of stuff, it all hit in one thing. It had nothing to do with World Parrot Day. But the merch that I'm working on is kind of got something to do with World Parrot Day. I really want to show you one, but I haven't got the sample yet, so I don't want to show anyone until I've got the sample. It's taking so long. I just think it's clever. I think the two that I really want to show off, that I really like, I'm excited about, and I want to wear them. But maybe I'll have to relent and just go with the design when, deadlines don't mean anything these days. Naomi, anything else you would like to chip in? What else would I like to say? I'm just looking at the... Naomi, I'm going to read your comment. I agree. It's short-sighted, in my opinion, to privatise some of the things that they have. I've not seen improvements due to privatisation. I'm keen to, and Naomi's keen to see merch. So am I, because I've avoided buying anything new for winter because I wanted it all to be merch. But anyway, it's not here. Now let's see, Naomi. We privatise so many things in Victoria, and nearly all of them have been bought back. Can we... remember we privatised the Australian Wheat Board? Remember that was going to be fantastic, and then we ended up with all the corruption in AWB as it became. I mean, can somebody just tell us one thing that worked out well with privatisation? Even have a look what's just happened in rugby league. And remember, rugby union. Now, the Melbourne Rebels are kaput. But the Melbourne Rebels were run by the smartest business people. Blah, blah, blah. All the usual bullshit. Remember when they turned footy clubs into companies and then they all went broke and the league had to take them over? Remember the Sydney Swans and Dr Edelston and what was his name? Ruben Dickhead, the Brisbane Bears. They went private. The efforts with Hawthorn and Melbourne when they were going to turn them into the Dorks. I honestly cannot think of one thing that was a government service that has, in Victoria here, look, this is not what today was supposed to be about, but the hospital where I went to get diagnosed, and I'll tell you the good news. I had my specialist appointment yesterday, 5 years cancer free. So I've now been moved to annual monitoring, and I'm happy about that. And I was really quite stressed about this appointment because they'd shifted it 3 times, and I thought, I don't know. But I did get a bit stressed about it. Anyway, I've had it. Saw the consultant, and when you get to 5 years with no reoccurrence, you move into a group where statistically it's far, 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 far less likely that there'll be a recurrence. So good news. So it was worth shifting Holly's talk and that we've had. Anyway, it ended up being good news. I'm happy about that. Yeah. Thanks, Naomi. Yeah, it's not now, and we got to deal in the realms of the realistic. I've been moved into a category now with 5 years cancer free, but I don't think anyone who's ever had cancer. And let's be clear, I was really lucky. I had cancer localized in one organ. You take the organ out, and I haven't had to go through chemo and everything. So, I'm less one kidney, but in terms of cancer, I got one of the good ones. I got one where you cut it out and it's gone, and it hasn't come back. So, but monitoring is important, and when you can get to 5 years with no reoccurrence, you are far less likely to have a recurrence. But I don't think anyone ever thinks, oh, it's gone. I think it's always lurking that the next scan you have or the next set of blood tests that you do will reveal something. I've only got one kidney left, so I've got to really constantly monitor the health, the performance, the function of my kidney, and I have to be sensible about what I eat and drink or don't drink, as the case may be. But why I went back onto that is the hospital where I went originally to the ED department. They're rebuilding it, and they've put a women's and children's hospital next door. But as part of that, they built next door, and God knows why they even do this. Why did they even allow for a private hospital to be right next door? Well, of course, the private hospital's gone bust. So who has to pick it up and run it and make sure all the investors, who would be surgeons and their property developer family or whatever, now we have to make sure they don't all lose out. What I reckon is stuff them. They can all lose out. Employ all the nursing staff and any doctors that are employed there in the public hospital. Use those resources and put them in instead of keeping open. Anyway. Or just annex it, just become... But the idea that it would be saved is stupid, so it's not going to be saved as a private hospital, thank God. But this idea, and schools are a whole other thing too, And I went for the last part of my secondary schooling, I went to a private school, but the idea that government money goes to run private schools just... I'm just a lefty. Sorry. I just don't understand that we're subsidising things that people make a choice to go to, a duplicate system. I just don't get it. I mean, we don't... anyway. Let me just have a look. Still nobody on the Twitchies. Lots of you on Twitter again. That's nice to see. But I would love to see some Twitter comments. That would be great. Naomi wants to tell us about Eastern Yellow Robins. Good. 5 of them. Well, that's good. That looks like you've got a pair and some youngsters. That's good. Privatising that go bust should not be given monetary relief if they don't work. Agree with you. I also don't even think that there needs to be public money given to private enterprises to exist. Unless there is a beneficial flow back to the public purse that isn't just the same flow back that businesses that don't get public money send back, i.e. taxes, payroll tax, GST, all the stuff that somebody who didn't get a government bailout has to pay anyway. Anyway. Tell us one thing that has been privatised that is better than when it wasn't private, that when it was in public hands. Just one. I'd like to know. I'm happy to be proven wrong. I'm very happy to have an example of one where services are better, available to the same or more people, cheaper, or the same price. Just one thing. Equity, value, any of those measurements. Anyway. Well, that's really it. We're going to, unless there's more comments, I'm happy to chat all day if we've got stuff to chat about. But I think I can better utilise the time to give you something new and an actual presentation where I've done the overlays and clipped up some videos and everything to talk about the nature positive bill. And I might also talk a little bit about the invasive species actions that are going on. I think that there's some real headway being made with invasive species in Kosciuszko with the horses that are being removed, the feral horses. And again, very public, but I'm not saying that we've... we've got the biggest wild populations, I think, of water buffalo and sambar deer in Australia than anywhere in the world. Introduced pests, but they're more common here than anywhere else. And I think camels, too. And there's probably many more things. So it's good to be able to share the good news with you. Sorry that Holly's not with us. Hopefully in a couple of weeks, Holly will be back. And working on some follow-ups with plastic pollution with Myron Belay. Trying to get a panel of people all in the one place at the one time. If not, we'll have to do individual conversations with individual experts in the field. But I was hoping to do something a bit different and get a bunch of people putting forward different ideas and different, emphasising different priorities. So, what should I tell you? I should tell you that if you would like to follow me on Twitter X, at Bird Emergency, do make sure you are subscribed on YouTube, thebirdemergency.com/YouTube, and almost ready to start doing my couple of times a week, evening streams on Twitch, which will be a little bit more general entertainment. I'll probably find more funny stuff that is environment, politics, funny, conservation, environment, that is a little bit broader than bird stuff. So that's where that's going to migrate to. So thebirdemergency.com/Twitch. If you haven't tried Twitch, don't be worried. It's just like watching stuff on YouTube and Facebook, but it's a totally different kind of crowd. And I'm trying to find more conservation and environment issues people. There's a fair bit of climate change people there, but I want to build something there too. I think, I'm only doing this to try and get more people engaged. And as I'm going along, I'm finding that I'm getting less engagement with the people that are already in the tent and more people who are sort of on the fringes, engaging and commenting and being involved much more. So, wow, look, the numbers have exploded. Twitter, Twitch, X. Welcome aboard. We're almost at the end. You can catch us again on Thursday at about midday or 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We'll be doing this again. But thebirdemergency.com/Twitch. Here we go. Hello, Kangaroo Island TV. That's Stan. Hello. Hey, Stan, you might have noticed that Holly's not here. Holly had to, late yesterday, she let me know that she couldn't be here today. She's had a meeting crop up right at the, about our start time, so we couldn't make that happen. Holly will be back in a couple of weeks. We don't know exactly when. So that's great. How are you going, Stan? Oh, did you get the news items? You probably don't watch any of the crappy news that I watch. Apparently EVs are a terrible investment and people are worried that the whole EV market's going to crash. That was some finance guru going on about this. And apparently there's a whole heap of Teslas sitting on the docks or just off the docks in Melbourne, 6,000 of them or something. And it's a real shame because they can't be sold, even when they keep dropping their prices. People would prefer to buy Polestars and Great Walls and LDVs or whatever else the EV market. I think the Hyundai have got a little one, haven't they? And the Nissan Leaf or whatever. Apparently it's terrible because people bought Teslas as an investment. These people are fucking stupid, aren't they? Stan, I'll follow up with, just tuned in after putting the paper out. We had Penguins in Decline article on page 1 last week. EVs will do just fine. You're quite right. But this is the point. You don't buy cars to be an investment unless you are buying a collector's car. And your day-to-day runabout EV is not that. And it's going to depreciate. And as we get more of them and there are more models available, they will get cheaper. So someone who bought one when Stan did will probably look back in 4 years and say, gee, if I had bought the same level car now, I wouldn't have had to spend quite as much money. But, hey, that's life. Early adopters pay more, right? Anyway, it's just crazy. There's a slant. There's a political slant on every story you read about environment, climate change, EVs, batteries, and it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. So I'm trying to fight back and I'm trying to find a creative way to do it rather than, do you remember there used to be a show on the ABC called Beatbox? And I was thinking, sometimes I feel like I should just start a show called Bleatbox. Because I just feel like I'm getting upset about the same things all the time. And I don't want to be getting upset about the same things all the time. So now let's see. Let's continue on the EV stuff, and I'll get back to your other point in a minute, Naomi. I'd certainly prefer anything to a Tesla, especially the Cybertruck, and I want to carrot of my digits. I don't know what you're saying there. I don't actually know what that means. I do know what you mean about Tesla and Cybertruck. And look, you know what? If we're going to have EVs and we need roads, we also need the charging infrastructure. So governments, get out there and put money into that. Right? And if you want to partner with other companies and everything to do that, fine. But make sure you retain a piece of the pie or some of the profit, you know. And Naomi just says, yeah, who buys a new car as an investment? That's daft. That's absolutely right. Naomi says, here we go. Will the Twitch stream be in any other stream? Yeah, I'll probably run YouTube with it as well. I'll try that out, but then I will probably be doing some that are just Twitch, because the I'll also the truck cuts fingers off with its edges. Okay, now I get it. I don't know. There's some things with like I want to try a little bit. Try some new things about the kind of shots that I give you, like, you know, just here. But if I've got guests on, how they are arranged, and put the chat up. I mean, I would like, you know, at the moment we've got a good amount of people who are apparently watching live, spread over. Well, we're on 3 destinations at the moment, and I'm not going to Instagram or to LinkedIn like I normally do. I just thought, without having anything prepared, and, you know, they're people, you know, the Instagram people are people who are not Instagram, beg your pardon, LinkedIn. They're people who are probably at work, in an office, more corporate kind of folk. They're just not, they don't want this. They want a lesson, or they want a presentation or something, you know. So it's, when I've got that kind of thing and we've got interview and everything, well, then I'll go to there. But when it's just me rattling on, I don't think anyone from LinkedIn wants to see it. Instagram still doesn't work properly in terms of being able to get the feedback. So getting input, and that's what I want. You know, I'm not trying to tell you to go and buy particular bags or all the crap on, you know, I'm not showing you how do I do my daily manicure, you know, my manscaping. I might do Instagram only things, but they'll be very different to what this kind of show is. And yeah, and Twitch, yeah. One of the terms of service with Twitch is that you can't combine the chat, like everyone's comments, and put them all in the one chat. And that's what I would like to do if I was streaming to 3 or 4 destinations. It means it just makes it harder to do multi-streaming, and the point of trying to spread the word is to do the multi-streaming. So, look, the long-winded answer to your question is some of the Twitch streams will also be YouTube streams, which will actually they'll be YouTube streams that are multi-stream to Twitch. But when I'm doing something that I have, you know, designed to be a Twitch show, the I will put it up on YouTube later as a video, but it won't be live, so there won't be interaction on YouTube. But there will be some YouTube streams that I stream live to Twitch as well. So, and then we're in the situation like we're in now. It'll be just like now. Also Facebook, but I'm getting I get so much crap. By crap, I mean rubbish emails. It just wastes my time. The messages that I get and stuff through Facebook Messenger when I do the Facebook stuff. So that's great. Amy says, sad to hear about the development in your area. Yeah, it's just I'm pretty sure it's happening everywhere. I mean, everywhere a house gets sold, and this is another thing that makes me angry about the, well, surely some areas are going to be different, right? I mean, where all the first home buyers seem to be in my area is out in a place called Melton, but that's also where all the really bad crime stories are coming from out there. So around here, where I see the houses get sold, and these are on the streets that I walk regularly, and then they get sold, and then the ones that don't get redeveloped immediately, they're not moving in new families. They're staying empty. Or there's some renters move in. There's a house a couple of doors down that got sold, and they did get a new permit, so I was waiting for it to get knocked down. But it hasn't been knocked down yet. But there are about 10 people living in there, and it's not a new young family. It's like the old typical student house. Except I don't think, if they're students, they might be international students. But there's a whole pile of people living there, and which is good. But the myth of the young families or the first home buyers who are going to auctions and buying these houses, no, it's not. It's developers. It's probably people who live on the other side of town, have built up equity in their place, and it's worth a lot more money than the properties over here, so they can borrow against the equity over there to finance the property over here. And then they renovate it and flip it. Or they knock it down and they turn their investment in one 3-bedroom house into 3 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom units. So, yeah. There is I did talk to someone who bought a house at one of the 2 streets over, and I saw them taking the sign down, and I could tell it wasn't a real estate agent person taking the sign down. And while they didn't want to tell me how much they paid for it, they said they got a good deal, and I asked them what are they going to be doing with it, and they said they're not sure. They are having a lot of trouble finding builders and tradies and whatnot at the moment. I think they're knocking it down and building something else. Now, if it's going to be a family home, that's what most of the policies that are aimed at is. I'm okay with that. But if it's been bought by some property developer who's going to get their negative gearing tax benefits and, make it harder, or those builders, those tradesmen won't be building, those particular people won't be being put to use building for the first home buyer. Those people are standing in line or getting the dodgy cut price builders who then all go broke, which is continually happening over here. So, yeah. Naomi says, no one can afford housing really, at least not in the mountains in Sydney. Not anywhere. not anywhere. I mean, Brisbane's now I think the order of most expensive and also fastest increasing prices, Sydney, Brisbane, Canberra, and then Melbourne. Yeah. I was telling one of my friends the other day that just showing them average houses, taking photos of some average houses around here that sold recently, like in the last couple of years, and telling them that you need about $1 million to buy a house here. And they go, what? And they, and then when they're saying, oh, I would love to come to Australia and get a job, and you look at what their job is in the Philippines, and well, what their level of qualifications would allow them to work here, and they'd be lucky to be earning 40 grand a year if they could get a full-time job, 45,000, 50,000 maybe, if they can get a full-time job. And in most cases, you're not going to get a full-time job. So you might be earning 2/3 or a half of that. So you're never buying a house. You're never renting a house if you've got that kind of money. You have to live in a place like my new neighbours where there's I know of at least 6 people who are living there. But isn't that remember that book by Donald Horne, The Lucky Country? And everyone thought that the people who didn't read it thought, oh, it means Australia's the lucky country. No, it actually meant everyone says we're the lucky country, but we're not that bloody lucky because of the way the system works. And that's an old book, but it's even more relevant now. So thanks, Donald Horne. I really enjoyed reading that when I was doing politics, year 11. Okay, wow. So I didn't think we'd be going for very long today. Look, so many people on Twitter watching. I really like it, but please convince me that you're really there. I have seen some people liking the shows. Maggie Hayes, Maggie McGuinness, and 3 other people reacted. Oh, let's see. What did they... I've only seen Naomi react. This is why I have to look down at the phone to see what's going on here. Okay, who's reacted? Okay, I've got some love and some thumbs up, but I'm not seeing who they are. Oh, and some shares. Oh, this is on a different one. Oh, okay, that's on a different... So apparently not on today's show. We're on the Habitat Gardening. So sorry for getting you excited. Maybe if I did. Yeah. Okay. Naomi, if you do any gaming, Twitch is where it sort of started off as gaming, but they have their shows in categories, right? So, and one of the categories is just chatting, and nearly all the others are different types of games. But just chatting is where you'll find people reacting to stuff and should I tell you? Do you want to hear about some of the other things I'm doing on streaming as well? Because well, I don't know, sometimes I don't want to share all the behind the scenes stuff, but only because I'm finding it really difficult to get people to talk to me for the bird emergency. And I don't know whether that's a me thing. I don't know if it's just that they just don't want to be associated with me. But I'll tell you what it has... actually, Naomi, it wasn't about World Parrot Day, but something did come out. I'm not going to say what it is, but I just can't get... I don't get any media releases from any conservation or birds body. I get the newsletters that you can sign up to on the websites, but when somebody is about to announce something, you know, or when someone's got a book coming out, and this is when I've been asking to get on these mail outs, the PR firms and the people, the social media people and everything, just send me the info and sure, I'll interview someone and I'll talk to anyone. But even when I ask to be included, I don't get included. So I think I'm just finding that it's a me thing, right? I just get the feeling that that they don't think there's any value being here, and that's okay. That's okay. But if that's how it is, I've been doing this for a long time now, and you know, maybe I'll just talk to the people who say yes and stuff all the people who say no. And if it means I take the show in a different direction than where it started out, well, then maybe that's it, because podcasting is fun. Like, just all right. And here's more stuff about, you know, how we make the cookie. A podcast is a very particular thing. It's an audio only, even though you can do video podcasts on certain ways, but it's on certain platforms. But it's the way it's delivered that makes it a podcast, through the RSS feed and in a pod and into a podcatcher. YouTube shows, and what I'm doing now, is not necessarily a podcast. It's a show. It's a YouTube show. It's a live stream. And then when I edit it and then I re-upload it to a podcast host as an audio thing with a different cover and all that stuff, that's what makes it a podcast. Being on YouTube is not a podcast, right? But the whole things have been, all the definitions have been changed over. Multi-streaming has meant that I can do the same show for Facebook, for Twitch, for YouTube, for Instagram, even though it's got limitations, for Twitter/X, for Rumble, for Kick, for all these other platforms. I think there's a thing called Locals and all this now. But the popular shows are politics/culture stuff, which is where you get eyeballs. And my whole idea, and I got into doing podcasts when it was new, when everyone I reached out to said, what's the podcast? And I had to explain it to them, and I had to, you know, do a trial run with them and show them how easy it was to come in and do that. So, but now everyone knows they think they know what a podcast is, but most people think a podcast is what we're doing now, and this is not a podcast. This is a show. This is what telly has become. So, yeah. Now, let's see. I'm going to go here. Naomi said she's got Crash Bandicoot. I haven't got any games, but I'm going to... I've been paying off some stuff, and when I've finished doing that, I think I will invest in some kind of gaming thing, and that's what I'll do. I'll try Twitch out on Twitch's terms, you know, with that Twitch audience, who are never coming over to Facebook or YouTube. They're just not there. Now, Stan says he notices fewer press releases in the inbox in recent years. I think companies and entities now tend to try and go direct with their messaging on their own feeds and various platforms. Yeah, that's yes. And that's why everyone's got a newsletter and whatnot. And most newsletters are crap. But everyone's got a newsletter. But there still are when someone's got an announcement to do, or a book to come out and all that kind of stuff, there still are people wanting to get people out there and talked about and talked with and things like that. CSIRO is still approaching people to get their books out there, read books and all that kind of stuff. They're all doing it, and I'm just too small, I think. But the bodies that are natural allies, I think. Anyway, I don't really want to talk about it because I don't want to be going, oh, poor me. Fuck them. If they don't want to talk to me, that's fine. I don't care. Well, actually, no, I do care. I don't care that they don't want to talk to me because of how I do things. I don't care about that. I do care that they don't want to share their message with new people. Because what I'm increasingly seeing, and I've been watching lots of the, popular people in the space, or people and institutions and bodies, and they don't seem to be growing. Like, they've got this mass behind them. And when you get a mass in this kind of, in this world and using this method, it tends to keep growing. I mean, I look at where I was a year or 2 years ago, and instead of seeing live viewers of being 22, it was live viewers of 1 and 2. And, now it's 10 times that. Now, hopefully, in another year, it will be 2 or 3 times that. And then once you start getting to 100 to 200 live viewers, when you add on how many people watch the replays and the uploads on YouTube, that's when it starts to get quite big. So a long way to go. Stan, I noticed you got monetized. Let's have a look. Tell us the story. I forget how. Did you say it was 14 years? Was that right to get monetized on YouTube? I know that I know it was about a week ago that you popped it up. Or actually, it was the last time we went live, wasn't it? I think. I think I noticed it on the same day. But yeah, monetizing is is hard. But even so, if that's the aim, you don't make anything by having 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube. You need 5,000, and then you need 75,000 views in a month to actually make enough money to make it worthwhile. So that's not going to happen with me talking about kakapos, and well, maybe the kakapo would actually, but talking about here we go. So Stan says 13 years ago. They've now reduced the sub numbers required, but you need the hours. Have they? I haven't even read my creators. Have they reduced the sub numbers below 1,000 now? But yeah, it's the but you need 4,000 hours of watch time, and in 4,000 hours of watch time in a 12-month period, and I get more people watching when I rant and rave about politics than I do when I talk about birds that I want to talk about. And by more, I mean lots and lots and lots more. And more people want to talk about gardening and photography. So if I can wedge conservation into gardening and photography, that's what I'll do. And travel. I think travel is the other thing that really I have to concentrate on. I've always been wanting to do it, but it's a time thing. And when I'm chasing around and answering people's queries, like sometimes it'll take 4 or 5 conversations with somebody on the other side of the world. So I might have to get up at 3 a.m. to catch them, to try and have a conversation with them about, do they want to do the show? What's it about? Here's the link. Come and have a look, blah, blah, blah. So it's not like just talking to someone who is, oh, yeah, I know the show. Sure. Yeah. So, and they just jump in and go, yeah, that'd be great. Sometimes it takes hours and hours in the middle of the night when I really should be sleeping, which I don't mind. I don't mind having the conversations in the middle of the night, but it's frustrating when it comes to nothing. Anyway, boy. Yeah, so... what was I just wanted to say? Oh, if you've got Netflix, this is something I did want to say. You've probably seen a lot of the social media PR about the film called The Giants. Bob Brown, basically Bob Brown's film, the Bob Brown Foundation film called The Giants. It's on Netflix now, so seek it out and go and watch it. It landed, I think, on Friday or on Sunday. I can't remember. Naomi says, birds, photography, gardens, all go hand in hand. Yeah, absolutely. They're all intermingled. Yeah, and says politics as well. Yeah. Naomi, you would be amazed at how much negative stuff I get about politics. But when I talk about politics, I get the eyeballs and the listens. But it upsets a lot of people. I think it upsets the people who are conservatives. I think a lot of people in bird watching are conservatives, and they don't like to have to go, oh shit. You know, it's like that. What was that? What was that show with David Mitchell in it? Let me just look it up. I might actually be able to find the clip. Actually, we'll find the clip, and we'll have a bit of fun. Here we are, from Mitchell and Webb. Here we go. Oh. 2:49. Okay, I'm going to share this with you. We're going to play this, and this is what I. Here we go. Let's see. Let me know if you have ever seen this before. Let me come back and make sure I've got it up on full screen. Naomi says she's unsurprised that I get blowback about politics. Yeah. Yes. All right. Here we go. This is the clip I always think about.
Very well. They're coming. Now we'll see how these Russians deal with a crack SS division.
Hans?
Have courage, my friend.
Yeah. Hans, I've just noticed something.
These communists are all cowards.
Have you looked at our caps recently?
Our caps?
The badges on our caps. Have you looked at them?
What? No. A bit?
They've got skulls on them. Have you noticed that our caps have actually got little pictures of skulls on them?
I don't,
Hans, are we the baddies?
Let's see. We should be able to hold them at this point here, at least for a few hours.
Why skulls, though?
What?
Why skulls?
Well, maybe they're the skulls of our enemies.
Maybe. But is that how it comes across? I mean, it doesn't say next to the skull, you know, yeah, we killed him, but trust us, this guy was horrid.
Well, no, but...
I mean, what does skulls make you think of? Death, cannibals, beheading, pirates.
Pirates are fun.
I didn't say we weren't fun, but fun or not, pirates are still the baddies. I just can't think of anything good about a skull.
What about pure Aryan skull shape?
Even that is more usually depicted with the skin still on. Whereas the Allies...
No, you haven't been listening to Allied propaganda. Of course they're going to say we're the bad guys.
But they didn't get to design our uniforms. And their symbols are all, you know, quite nice. Stars, stripes, lions, sickles.
What's so good about a sickle?
Well, Nothing. And obviously, if there's one thing we've learned in the last 1,000 miles of retreat, is that Russian agriculture is in dire need of mechanization.
Tell me about it.
But you've got to say, it's better than a skull. I mean, I really can't think of anything worse as a symbol than a skull.
A rat's anus?
Yeah, and if we were fighting an army marching under the banner of a rat's anus, I'd probably be a lot less worried, Hans.
Okay. So... Very well.
So there we are. Are we the baddies? Yeah. I always think about that whenever I am talking to conservatives who are really into birds and stuff, because I think, hey, you know, and I say this from a genuine position of love. You know, I was a tax accountant. I studied business as well as horticulture and stuff, but I'd taken the pills. I was advising people about negative gearing and investment properties and everything, but Peep Show. Yeah, I the first time I was looking for that clip, I was thinking, I don't know, it wasn't on Peep Show. I forgot it was on Mitchell and whatever. Yeah, so, but I do love that. Are we the baddies? Yeah. Anyway, hopefully people will sort of come to realise that in a time where we have to reduce emissions and we have to stop expanding, and that if you're serious about preserving biodiversity, and if you believe that if it's important to preserve one species because it's special, then you maybe need to shift to think, well, is there an ethical standard that you should adopt, that every species is special, has a right to exist? And then when they go, oh, but extinctions have always happened. Yeah, that's right. A naturally occurring process, not one that we are driving. So yeah, hopefully I just think that occasionally when people are on their $25,000 bird trip with their $30,000 of equipment, and they might just one day think, ooh, is all this exploitation and everything driving the fact that we're losing these things that we care about? Anyway, I don't know if the disconnect is able to be bridged. But yeah, point of that is I think that a lot of people who want to talk about birds don't want to talk about politics. A lot of people who want to talk about conservation don't want to talk about decolonializing research, and they don't want to talk about bird names for birds, you know. I reached out to someone. I saw this the other day. Someone's in the UK, I think, has put out a book. It's really an academic work. It's not like a story like some of the books about changing the bird names from colonisers and industrialists and whatnot. This book was more about focusing on plant names, but it was really interesting because it was someone who was an immigrant into Britain writing about it while still being connected with their country of origin in the third world. I won't out them yet because they haven't agreed yet to chat to me, but I hope they will, because a number of people I've approached about who are vocal about the bird nose for birds, but they don't want to do an interview. They're just quite happy to do their social media or write their books or whatever. But I think it's a gateway into breaking down the way we think about our place in the world. Anyway, wow, look how many. So Twitter people, ex-people, if you're enjoying the show, assuming you're all real, you must be enjoying the show, because more and more of you are coming in. I'm really appreciating it. I'm just looking to see if I've had any comments or anything on anything else. Naomi, dead set. Yeah, people do get indoctrinated. I mean, look, I'm going to proudly wear it. I was a rusted on ALP person. I joined the ALP not long after I left school. I didn't stay long because I didn't like the way the party was run. I didn't find that it was. I didn't find that being an individual who wasn't aligned to another power base was good. But I'd swallowed the whole thing, the fairies at the bottom of the garden for the Democrats and the Greens being loonies and everything. I'd swallowed all of that, you know. Yeah, and I mean, look, religion. I don't know how you can be a scientist and believe and religious. I don't know how the metaphysical jives with science, but there's scientists who are religious, so maybe they can explain it to me one day. But yeah, I've read the Bible. I've read most of Bhagavad Gita. I tried. I started reading the Torah. Haven't read the Quran. But those texts don't speak to me. And same as parables and stuff and fairy tales. I never got into fairy tales. I don't remember any. Because I just thought, well, this is crap. This is crap. Anyway. So, yeah. There we go. So this is what happens when I haven't prepared anything, and I didn't expect that we'd be talking for over an hour. What can I tell you? I did tell you to watch The Giants on Netflix. I've been conflicted because I've been watching Alone. You know, the Alone different series. Oh, Naomi, yeah, give me Grimm over God any day. Yeah, give me Grimm. Give me Hans Christian Andersen. Give me Roald Dahl. But they're all stories, right? They're just stories. What was I saying? Yeah, Alone. Really conflicted. I enjoy watching people go through that challenge of being alone and isolated and how they deal with it. But the hunting thing, I don't know. Not into the hunting thing. I don't know how I'd go with that anymore, because now I've got my vegetables and my noodles and my tofu. I don't know how I'd go nowadays out on the shore of some lake in the wilderness and having to procure protein. Anyway. Now that's interesting. I just did get a reaction, but I think that's on Facebook. So there we are. Thank you, Adam. Adam's given us the like. Adam Wardrobe. Thanks, Adam. Just did see that pop up. Thank you. Adam, if you're watching and you're joining in, pop into the chat and let us know where you're watching from. Just tell us a little bit about you. You're new. I haven't seen you here before. So welcome. Naomi says, I really like alone. I also get conflicted with the hunting. If I was there, I'd eat worms. I was watching, I can't remember if it was in series 1 or 2 of the Australian series. I think it was series 1. We're getting the earthworms. Oh no, it was probably series 2 because it was in New Zealand, I think. Yeah. Getting the earthworms and then lightly frying them and eating them and going, oh, they taste like bacon. That was, I would never have thought that. So, yeah. See, I'd get conflicted even eating worms now. Now that I know that plants can communicate with each other, I get conflicted just eating plants myself. I even think, whoa, gee. Because there is a debate now about whether plants are sentient. If plants are sentient, that's concerning. It's an ethical issue to think about. Naomi, what's your favourite grim fairy tale? And I almost want to watch David Mitchell saying that again. Are we the baddies? Watching some British comedy does at least make me laugh a little bit. And I don't know if you caught up with it looks like the Conservative Party in Britain is going to be completely walloped at the election. But now they're being split by the fella who ran the Brexit campaign with his party. Well, it was UKIP back then, UK Independence Party, but it's now Reform Party. And it really, really, really looks like it may lead to a further lurch rightward. They talk about the Overton window. A big win for the Labor Party might actually shift the Overton window in the UK right rather than left. The logic would think that it will be left, but if Labor goes to become a centre-right party and the Conservatives go even further to the right, don't think that's a positive thing. Air-Aryan. What's Air-Aryan? I need to find out about that. Favourite grim is the juniper tree. Okay. Don't think I've even eaten that, so I'm going to look up what Air-Aryan is because I have no idea. Is that the Anabasis of Alexander? No, that's not right, is it? What's this? Air-Aryan. I'm getting a whole lot of things that are Aryan. I get nothing when I search that, Naomi. So I can't add to that. Had never heard of Aryan. Only fruit that drops naturally can be eaten. Is that it? Is that a fairy tale? I don't know. I don't know. Wouldn't be very good for monkeys, would it? If only fruits that can be dropped. Okay, now I could. So it's like a fruitarian, but only, but you can only eat fruit that you find on the forest floor or on the ground in your orchard. So you need to be walking the rows of your orchard twice a day before the birds or everything else gets on it. Okay. Okay, that's yeah, that sounds like putting needless regimentation on your life. Oh well, that actually sounds like a loopy religion to me. But yeah, great. Just got an ABC News notification. Apparently, Australian news outlets are being targeted by Russians because of disinformation. Who would have known? Okay. Thanks, Naomi. I'm glad that I got that. Yeah, so the Naomi said, Aryan, only fruit that dropped to the ground can be eaten. Where did you find out about that, Naomi? Like, is that actually a thing? I've never heard of an Aryan. It's quite mad. Only fruit that fall from the trees by themselves can be eaten. It's very difficult to do. Often alongside eating disorders. Yeah, well, it sounds like sounds like almost like OCD. Not that it's similar in the way it manifests, but that. I mean, if it's something that you choose to do, it seems to be very loopy, and if it's something that you are conditioned to do by some some pathology in your psychology, seems weird. Okay, well, I've said it about 5 times already. It's about time to go. I haven't. Oh, Naomi says it's the thing. Up in Nimbin. Many years since I went to Nimbin. I used to have a cousin who had a shop in the main street in Mullumbimby, so I used to go up there a bit. But yeah, I never. It stops the pain of the plants, does it? Well, okay. So is that the only sustenance that they have, that they only eat fruit that drops from the ground? They don't eat any grass products. They'll only eat. What about seed? Do they have to wait until seed drops? It'd be very difficult to. I hope they don't drive cars or anything. And this is where I think everyone has to realise that their life involves compromises. And then you have to decide which ones you're going to make. It would seem to me that picking an apple... Actually, that would seem to me that if you're going to go to that extreme in your thoughts of what is acceptable in horticulture, that you would probably want to wonder if it was ever acceptable to clear land and plant and introduce species. Because we know that plant communities communicate through their roots, and that different plants need to have associations with different fungi and bacteria in the soil, and that native plants need different ones than introduced plants. So, and they grow macadamias and wait for them to fall. No good. Well, yes, it would seem to me that if you could push all of those arguments to the extreme, couldn't you? But that's why there are ethical dilemmas and why so many of us get conflicted. I would go many months, I would think, around here if I had to wait for fruit to drop before I could eat it. Just walking around here, I know that there's syzygium berries. They're generally fermenting by the time they drop. No. I know, Naomi, I know you're not espousing the lifestyle. I know that. I see that when I hear about a lifestyle like this, I think, well, what are the limits? They ride bikes, so the bikes have to be produced by some. So if they're not willing to clip off some fruit and eat it, but they're willing to ride and use, no doubt. No doubt they have implements. They have dishes and sinks and houses and push bikes. Yeah. It just seems... you certainly would be against clearing land and removing any vegetation, I would have thought. I would think. Anyway, I'll look it up. I might try and talk to someone about it. It might be a very interesting conversation to have. Yeah. Okay, folks. I've learnt something today. Aerians. What else have we? If you've got Netflix, go and watch The Giants. That would be good. I've been watching something on SBS too, apart from Alone. I've been watching an Irish show about gangs called Love Hate. Difficult. I'm just checking to see if there's anything else coming up on Twitter. Can't see any. All right, well, Naomi, thanks for having a lot to say. Adam Wardrobe, nice to get your thumbs up, the Facebook like, that's good. Hopefully I will... I'll keep in touch with Holly. Drop her a line in about a week and see if we can reschedule in about 2 weeks' time. Yeah, I know. I lined up a heap of news articles, but I wanted to clip them all, so we'll talk about those. I would love to. I'd love to find an Aerian. I couldn't find anything Aerian when I searched it on Google. So I'll probably have to get deep into it I'll probably have to delve into the. Oh, they're probably not really using the internet. I'll probably have to look up the classifieds in grassroots or something. Find out what's what. God, these lights. I really need new lights, don't I? Showing me being red. I'm not red on the monitor over here. I'm only red when I go through the StreamYard. That's weird. Purple. Oh no, I'll have to get some makeup and make myself look white. So, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll leave all the other stuff till Thursday. I might do something. Look, if I get everything finished, I might pop in tomorrow, or maybe do a Twitch tomorrow. If you want to follow on any of the platforms, I've got easy links, thebirdemergency.com/ and it's either Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. I don't think I've done that for LinkedIn. All right. All right. No, before we go, I'll ask you this. Look, there are a couple of platforms out there that are basically full of right-wingers in the States. One's called Kick, one's called Rumble. Kick was basically a spin-off. So it's essentially the same as YouTube, streaming to YouTube. But when the people who set it up were basically kicked off YouTube and Twitch streams because they were doing gambling, online gambling. And also, I don't know if you've ever heard about the hot tub streams. I mean, it's probably a whole new world for all of you who don't watch a lot of live streams. And anyway, they started up this thing called Kick, which was a way for them to keep doing their live gambling shows. But it's quite popular, but there's a whole heap of young right-wingers on there. And the other one is Rumble, which was started up, as funded by one of the blokes who was involved in PayPal, a conservative dude, hedge fund guy called Peter Thiel. Now I'm thinking of doing the multi-streaming also to Rumble and to Kick, just because we might reach a few more people and get some stuff. But then again, it might also make the chat a bit toxic. So maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just stick with Twitch and YouTube and Facebook and go from there. Yeah. I'll think about it. Oh, did anyone see the story? This was one of the ones I hadn't clipped it yet. Anyone see it was only on Twitter I saw it. That Eric Waller in Tassie was contacted about this big bird print, 3-toed bird print on the beach in Tasmania. It was as big as someone's hand, and people couldn't think what it was. Was it a goose? Looks too big to be a Cape Barren goose. Anyway, Eric Voller suggested that maybe it's an undiscovered or rediscovered Tasmanian cassowary. Maybe there's a cassowary living in Tasmania. So that went a bit. Might have also made it onto Facebook. I think it did. But anyway, it did turn out that it was a pelican. But yeah, I love how people are always happy to be led to the most illogical or most unlikely explanation for something. I did see there was another another story about the Tasmanian tiger thylacine. That was again angling to get funding for this, for the reanimation stuff. It just never goes away. There's always someone trying to find it to make a buck out of something. Yeah. All right, gang. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Naomi. She says she'll watch the Giants. Yeah, do. It's available on Netflix. I'll look for it too. I'll look for the show that shows how Andrew Forrest was doing the negotiations with the traditional owners, where it was contested at one of his development sites. It's a really good program. I think the ABC did it. I think it was on Four Corners. I'll look for that. We might. We should do a. Why don't we all watch the Giants together? Like, you can all watch it on your Netflix or whatever on your computer, and at the same time, where can be watching it, and then we can do a live stream and talk about it as it's going on. What about that? That might be fun. Why don't we do that? That could be a fun thing. That might be a good way to introduce some of you to Twitch. We could do that. We could have like a viewing party. Yeah, and this was the other bit of news. Yeah, Naomi says, cool. What day and what time? Okay, I'll tell you what, Naomi, I will think about that. And that's the kind of thing I'd like to do on a Sunday, where we can just have fun and do something that is just fun. Excuse me. Or maybe it could be what we could do on a Saturday afternoon. I don't know. Give us an idea, Naomi. I mean, my thought would be that I reckon that would be a fun way to do a Sunday. That we could do something like that, a watch party, and then we could find other documentaries and stuff to watch and talk about. So that might be fun. Yeah, that could be fun. Or would that be a good evening kind of thing to do? I don't know. What would you prefer, Naomi? I mean, I'm always wary about doing anything on a weekend. Let's see. So Naomi says Sunday seems fun. Can sit back after Saturday gardening. Yeah, well, yeah. I've been wanting to do. I had been wanting to do a Sunday show that was like where we have coffee and have a chat and maybe get a panel of people. But it'd been really hard to find anyone who wanted to do anything on a Sunday. But maybe something like this might be fun. And then, and I could, for those people who I have their emails who have been supporters, I could probably put the studio link in so people could come in and now how these things have to work is you have to be watching, so you would need to have two screens or a split screen or something so that the stream, my show is going on, but you are also able to watch either on a TV or something, the Giants or your Netflix or whatever, because something like that, I can't stream it. It's like I can't stream The Shining or Friday the 13th, and this is why I can't play music, because copyright ding, the stream gets ended. So I can't stream The Giants on the show, but we can have the chat and everything going on in the show and reacting to it and everything. So it would essentially, you would need two gadgets or two screens, or the ability to have a screen big enough so you can have one window open watching the Bird Emergency stream, and in the other one you're watching the film or the documentary or whatever we're doing. Yeah, all right, I like that idea. So do we want to do that on Sunday? Do we want to do that on Sunday at midday or 1 o'clock? Oh, and it's a holiday here. It's a holiday here on Monday. Is it a holiday anywhere else in the country too? What do you think? Naomi, tell me if that's a good time. Okay. All right. Well, this is what I'll aim to do. I'll aim to sort of come on and start the stream at about midday, and then we'll aim to get going with watching the Giants at around 1 o'clock. There we are. So I will create the stream. I'll call it a watch party. And I'll create the stream shortly and then start promoting it. And let's see if anyone's interested. So try not to watch it before then. Let's all watch it for the first time together. It might be fun, and I might look up another one or two that we could that we can find somewhere. I'll look for something on YouTube that I can actually play as well. No, I like that idea. All right. There we go. Decision made. The Sunday watch party. Bearing in mind that it will not be something that you will want to watch on replay, because you won't be able to watch the Giants on the replay. What you could do was watch the Giants while you watch the replay. But yeah, Naomi, are you able to watch? Are you able to participate in the Bird Emergency at the same time as you watch something on Netflix? Are you set up for that? Generally, people, I know they used to do it, like one of the outlets that I used to watch all the time, like the Young Turks, they used to do this. They used to have a show called What the Flick, where they would watch movies. They did watch parties for Game of Thrones that were pretty fun. Should have thought about it. We should have done Farmer Wants a Wife or something. What a tragic show that was, or is. It would have been cool. All right. Make sure. Well, then you have to make sure you're subscribed. Cool. Okay. Well, Naomi's set up. I'm assuming most people have got got Netflix and some of the streaming things. Like I've got my Amazon Prime, so I can watch a few other interesting things too. But yeah, okay. I'll set up the stream. I've got to write the blurb for it and promote it, but we'll do that. So yeah, what did we say? Sunday. Fantastic. That well, should be enjoyable, and can get all the political garbage early in the morning. I don't watch Insiders anymore, but I do like watching the controversy on the Twitter feed when people are getting upset about Insiders. Cool. All right, folks. That is it. We've had one good idea for the stream. That's good. Thanks to all the Twitter X's. Been great to have you along. Facebook, Naomi. Yeah, you're running the show on Facebook today. YouTubers. And the Twitchers been dropping in and out. Thanks for being with us. I'm Grant. This is the Bird Emergency. I'm a bird nerd. See you on Thursday for like a news and issues, mostly nature positive show. That'll be midday or 1. That'll really depend on if I get caught going out to the shops or something in the morning. And then Habitat Gardening Saturday, 9:30 a.m. And then we'll do a watch party for the Giants, the Bob Brown Foundation movie on Sunday. And again, 1-ish, that'll kick off. I'll probably start the stream and have a bit of fun. Maybe play some ridiculous Trump. Oh, there's been some ridiculous Trump stuff in the last couple of days. And some Trump-adjacent stuff. Some amazingly dorky stuff in the... real sex, legal sex, biological sex, and gender. I saw an unbelievable interview. I'll dig that up. We'll play that on Sunday too. Now that was in the wake of the British election campaign. So I'll try and find some cool stuff. Thanks to David Mitchell today too. That was very fun. Are we the baddies? Cheers, everyone. Hooroo.